Trial Tuesday has moved to Wednesday this week. On this day after Election Day, we're talking about voter fraud. And a true man of the people, everyone's top choice, David Aylor, joins us right now to shed some light on that subject. Counselor, thank you so much for being here. As always, we saw a bunch of examples, even here in Charleston, Dorchester, Berkeley County yesterday, about voter fraud and intimidation.
Right, and intimidation is something that you're obviously going to see on the poll days, including people actually being within the polling places and campaigning, which clearly would be intimidation, and is something that you cannot do. I think there was an incident of that over in the James Island area, but you also saw a number of different things that will be reported and will be reviewed. But it really starts beyond that. It starts further back, of course, with voter registration.
Indeed. And we saw that the Department of Justice now investigating one particular case that some leaflets were left at a grocery store inside the carriages of the grocery store saying that Democrats, due to overwhelming demand for voting, need to vote on Wednesday. And this is something that's actually pretty common.
Right. Not only will you see things like the flyers, leaflets, stuff like that, you also see robocalls that'll go out and sound very formal, saying, "Hey, your district has changed due to inclement weather," or whatever the reason they may make up, and to try to divert people from actually going out and voting.
Now, the problem with this, the issue with it really is that if you do believe in those fake messages, there's no way to cast your ballot. There's really no legal action that you yourself can take.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the issue, is that there are a lot of people that, believe it or not, hear these things and don't know any better or maybe don't do the research to look otherwise, and then ultimately lose their vote.
What's your advice, I guess, to say with elections going forward? Obviously, the next presidential election won't be for 4 years, but you really want to call ahead first? You want to watch your local media outlet? What do you need to do to make sure that your vote gets counted?
Well, great folks like yourself and so many others in the news are very good as far as informing the public of what exactly they need to do, where they need to go, or perhaps what website they can look at. But there's even still phone numbers you can call and get the basic information, for voter registration. Sometimes you have things that people miss a vote simply because they're not going to the right polling place, and that can also be something that they're misdirected sometimes on purpose. So you really just need to make sure you know where you're going and when you're going, and anything beyond that, just try to really ignore it.
Let's get back to that fraud issue quickly. I read an article recently that said a man in North Carolina actually admitted to a newspaper that he voted 4 times for the same candidate. Is there any legal ramifications that he'll be facing?
I mean, he technically could. Obviously, you see smaller instances where voter fraud actually is just done on the singular level. But what's larger is the groups that, register a lot of people to vote and then put, send in ballots on people's behalf, obviously dead ballots, that sort of thing. But what you're referring to is, of course, it's actually Al Capone's famous quote, vote early and vote often, and that really comes from exactly what you're referring to, people just going in there in some way or another, pushing a candidate one way or another due to fraud.
I know a lot of people take the time to try and influence election, but in your opinion, do you see these isolated cases of voter fraud and intimidation really impacting an election?
I think it can, depending on how far it goes. A lot of them are caught early, and I think we have a lot of good, security within the actual polling places. But the real issue is the things that happened before with the absentee ballots and things like that. That's where you really start to see some swaying.
So really always be on guard.
Absolutely.
All right. Attorney David Aylor, thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thanks for having me.
We appreciate it. We'll be right back with the Center for Women. Stay with us.